Have you been procrastinating? Well, the first step is to understand why. So in this short video, I'm going to share with you a very simple framework that you can use to identify why exactly you're procrastinating. It's called the DUST model of procrastination, and it was created by Graham Alcott, the founder of Think Productive. DUST stands for difficult, unclear, scary, or tedious. First, the task may be too difficult or too challenging. That may be due to a lack of self-confidence, a lack of skills, or maybe a mix of both. The solution here is to move the starting point a little bit earlier. For example, if you're trying to build a mobile app, you could find a tutorial that is showing you how to build a very similar kind of app. So instead of trying to do it from scratch yourself, you can follow along with the tutorial. It's very important to not use that earlier starting point as an extra way to procrastinate. So pick one pre-task that is highly relevant to what you're trying to achieve so you can get started and it's a little bit easier, but don't make a very long list of pre-tasks that are going to make you procrastinate even more. Second, sometimes the task is unclear. It's not clearly defined. We very often one words item in our to-do list and we kind of leave it to our brains to fill the blanks. In order to be productive and to not procrastinate, it's very important to have a very clear list of actions that you want to work on. So the solution here is pretty simple. It's really about taking the task and rephrasing it in a way that is clearer. You can also break it down into simple, actionable steps that you can actually start working on. For example, presentation prep could be replaced by record myself presenting the talk by Tuesday so I can get feedback from my manager on Wednesday. Third, the task may be too scary. And sometimes our fear of failure can get in the way of our productivity. The biggest changes we want to make and the most ambitious projects we want to work on are also sometimes the most daunting. Our brain is designed in a way to keep us safe. Risk is bad, comfort is good. And procrastination is a way to stay in your comfort zone. It may seem paradoxical, but a solution here is to create an even bigger fear to trump the original one. For example, announcing your deadline in public may activate your fear of being judged, and you're going to stop procrastinating for fear of disappointing other people. This is a really good trick in the short term, but over the long term, it's actually really better to learn how to embrace these fears because they're a natural part of building something meaningful for yourself. And finally, the task may be tedious because let's face it, sometimes tasks are boring. If you need to copy and paste a bunch of content from a spreadsheet to another or clean up some data, or maybe you need to write 100 handwritten notes for an event that are all the same. That would be really boring and it still needs to be done. Unfortunately, very often there's no way to change the nature of the task itself, even though it can be helpful to learn a little bit of automation so you don't have to go manually through the most repetitive sorts of tasks, but you can change your environment. For example, you could listen to a podcast while you're doing copying and pasting work, or you can think of a reward that you can give to yourself when you're done with the task so it feels a little bit more exciting. That's it. That's the DUST model of procrastination. I told you it's very simple. You just need to identify whether the task is difficult, unclear, scary, or tedious, and then you can apply one of the corresponding solutions. And remember that procrastination is completely natural, and sometimes it's okay to go with it because it can be a way for your mind and your body to remind you that maybe it's time to take a break. But when procrastination becomes recurrent or it's taking a little bit too long for you to get back to work and it's really getting in the way of you achieving your goals, it's really good to have a little framework that you can use to understand why and corresponding strategies that you can use to fix it. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Squishy, squishy.